What if I told you the reason you're not getting rich from investing has nothing to do with how much money you have, but everything to do with a few daily habits you're probably ignoring? Have you ever felt like no matter how much you learn about investing, you still somehow end up off track? Like you start strong, full of motivation, watching videos, setting goals, and then slowly, without even realizing it, things slip? Because I've been there, more than once. And the truth is, it wasn't lack of knowledge that was holding me back. It was my habits. So today, I want to share something really personal with you. 9 money habits that completely changed my investing journey. These are not complicated strategies or get-rich-quick tricks. These are simple, repeatable habits that helped me stay consistent, disciplined, and actually see progress over time. The first habit that changed everything for me was paying myself first. Before I did this, I used to save whatever was left at the end of the month, which, let's be honest, was usually nothing. But the moment I started setting aside money for investing the second I got paid, everything shifted. It didn't matter if it was a small amount. What mattered was consistency. I stopped treating investing like an afterthought and started treating it like a priority. The second habit was automating my investments. And honestly, this one removed so much stress from my life. Instead of relying on motivation every single month, I set up automatic transfers. That way, even on days when I felt lazy or distracted, my system was still working for me in the background. Now, it's like putting your financial growth on autopilot, and trust me, it's a game changer. Another habit that helped me stay on track was tracking my money regularly. Not obsessively, but intentionally. I used to avoid checking my accounts when things weren't going well, which only made things worse. Now I check in weekly. I look at where my money is going, how my investments are performing, and if I'm staying aligned with my goals. Awareness brings control, and control brings confidence. The fourth habit was learning to delay gratification. This one wasn't easy at all. There were so many times I wanted to spend money on things that felt good in the moment, shopping, eating out, upgrading things I didn't really need. But I started asking myself a simple question. Do I want this now, or do I want financial freedom later? And slowly, that question rewired how I made decisions. It's not about never spending, it's about spending with intention. Then came something that might sound small, but made a huge difference. I stopped comparing my journey to others. In the age of social media, it's so easy to feel behind. You see people talking about big profits, luxury lifestyles, early retirement, and you start questioning yourself. But I realized that comparison was distracting me from my own path. The moment I focused only on my progress, everything felt lighter and more achievable. Another powerful habit was continuously educating myself, but with purpose. In the beginning, I consumed everything, videos, podcasts, articles, but I wasn't applying much of it. Now, I focus on learning things that are directly relevant to my strategy, and more importantly, I take action on what I learn. Because knowledge without action doesn't change anything. The seventh habit that really grounded me was having a clear investment plan. Before this, I was kind of all over the place, buying random stocks, reacting to trends, making emotional decisions. But once I defined my goals, my risk tolerance, and my strategy, things became much clearer. Whenever I felt uncertain, I could go back to my plan and remind myself why I started. Another habit that helped me stay consistent was accepting that mistakes are part of the journey. I used to beat myself up over bad decisions. But the truth is, every investor makes mistakes. What matters is how you respond to them. I started treating mistakes as lessons instead of failures. And that mindset shift made me more confident, not less. And finally, the ninth habit, the one that ties everything together, was being patient. This is probably the hardest one, especially in a world where everything feels instant. But real wealth takes time. There were months where it felt like nothing was happening, where progress was slow. But I kept going, because I trusted the process. And over time, those small, consistent efforts started to compound into something meaningful. And this is where I want to go a little deeper with you. Because patience in investing isn't just about waiting. It's about how you behave while you're waiting. This is the part nobody really talks about. It's easy to say be patient, but what does that actually look like in real life? For me, it meant staying calm when the market was down. It meant not checking my portfolio every single hour when things were volatile. It meant reminding myself that short-term movements don't define long-term results. There were times when I saw my investments drop and my first instinct was panic. I wanted to sell, to save what I had left. But over time, I trained myself to pause instead of react. I started zooming out. Instead of looking at daily or weekly performance, I looked at yearly trends, long-term growth, and the bigger picture. And that shift alone changed how I felt emotionally. It was because when you zoom out, you realize that ups and downs are normal. They're part of the journey, not a sign that something is wrong. Another thing that helped me extend this patience was building trust in my system. Remember when I talked about having a plan? This is where it really matters. Because when you trust your plan, you don't feel the need to constantly second-guess yourself. You don't jump in and out of investments based on fear or hype. You stay steady. And let me be honest with you. Staying steady is not always exciting. It can actually feel boring at times. You might feel like you're not doing enough, especially when you see others making quick gains. But consistency will always outperform chaos in the long run. I also want to talk about something that many people ignore, the emotional side of money. Because your mindset plays a huge role in whether you stay on track or not. There were moments when I felt discouraged, when progress felt too slow, when I questioned if all of this effort was even worth it. And in those moments, the easiest thing would have been to quit or to go back to old habits. But instead, I reminded myself why I started. I thought about the life I want to build, the freedom I want to have, the security I want for my future. And that vision pulled me forward, even when motivation was low. So if you're watching this right now and you feel like your journey is taking longer than you expected, I want you to know that you're not alone. This is normal. Real progress is often invisible in the beginning. It's happening quietly, slowly, behind the scenes. And this is exactly why your habits matter more than your results in the early stages. Because results will come later, but habits are what get you there. So here's what I want you to do after this video. Take a moment and reflect on your own habits. Not your intentions, not your plans, but your actual daily actions. Are they supporting your financial goals, or are they pulling you away from them? You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. All you need to do is start becoming a little more intentional with your choices. Because at the end of the day, your investing journey is not defined by one big decision. It's defined by hundreds of small ones you make every single day. And if you can learn to control those small decisions, you can completely change your financial future. And trust me, it's worth it.